Hey Doc, Sean Duncan with SMD Consulting and Accounting. We've talked a lot about entity types, and one of the questions that had come up is, well, what about insurance and other liability protection, things like that? And actually, I'll go ahead and just say it, contracts too. So let's talk about a little bit more asset protection stuff, but first, asset protection, disclaimer. Alrighty. Again, it just said it in the disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice, but let's just talk concepts as business owner to business owner. Yes, your entity type protects you from certain things. You get sued in your practice for a violation of a contract. They cannot come and punch through and take your house, your car, your cat, your dog. You get sued for malpractice, though. You did something wrong. You already know you were personally liable for that. And it stinks, and I get it. It's just the way the game works. That's why you have malpractice insurance, to protect against that eventuality, protect against that piercing the veil moment where the entity type doesn't help. See, they have different purposes, but they have the same purpose. They have different things that they protect. That same logic applies to business liability insurance, building insurance, and your contracts, which I also consider a type of insurance. So let's touch on that real quick. First, on the liability insurance. When you have a business, and again, many of you are practice owners, and if you're not, remember the 1099 turns you into a sole proprietorship. If you're a sole proprietorship, you're a business owner. So do not just sit there and say to yourself, well, yeah, I just get some 1099s. That doesn't count. 1099s are business owners. We will talk about that more later in another series. But when you have your practice, I want you to have your liability protection for the company itself. People will think that you've breached an agreement, you've violated the things, you've broken a rental agreement, whatever it is that they feel like they want to sue your company for. Companies get sued all the time for crazy stuff, just like doctors do. The liability insurance for your business tries to distract them from the LLC and the need for even dealing with punching through, or the S Corp or C Corp. Think of it as the shiny distraction. It's like a magician, right? When you've got this big bundle of gold in one hand and they go, oh, we're getting sued, and that big bundle of gold is $10 million, and you've got a $2 million insurance policy, you go, no, look at my insurance over here. Look at my insurance over here. You're literally trying to pull their attention away from taking everything into practice and trying to find a way an excuse to punch through and pierce the veil. The insurance is the first stepping stone to stop them from buckling your company. It's a necessary evil in many of our businesses. So when something goes wrong, it stops the damage in most cases. And what's really cool about a lot of insurance companies, they'll give you the lawyers to fight it because they don't want to give their money away either. So most of the times, malpractice insurance, E&O insurance, business insurance, check into that. That's pretty cool to get a whole bunch of lawyers fighting on your behalf and you don't have to do as much. So just know that just because we talked about liability protection with an entity, that does not mean you don't get business insurance. It is a very prudent, cost-effective way to protect another layer. You're creating multiple walls between your personal assets and whatever crazy person's coming out there to come get you for something. So keep that in mind. Now, the other version, go to old-fashioned contracts. Making sure that your attorney is involved in reviewing the agreements that you're signing, employment agreements, lease agreements, vendor arrangements, referral fees. You already know you cannot violate Stark and anti-kickback stuff. I mean, my gosh, you got to paper that stuff up right. That, I don't even have to go into a lot of details on. You know the importance of that. Those same logic things fall into all your agreements. If you did not properly paper up your arrangement with your business partner and she decides, I'm done, I'm out of here, I'm tired of you, what's the rules for separation? What's the taxes? What can they do? What if your other business partner, he says, you know what, I think I like my 33%. I'm not going to see patients anymore. I'm not going to generate revenue, but I'm going to keep taking a third. What can you do about that? Properly documented arrangements cover that. It's almost like buying insurance. If you have the language very, very clear on partnership agreements, in employment agreements, in vendor contracts, you have something to fall back on that doesn't even require the lawsuit. But if the lawsuit happens, that comes later. If you have insurance, that comes back. Again, layers and layers and layers. Don't assume everybody's cool, because you can be in complete agreement right now and then something goes wrong. Maybe they have a crazy spouse. Maybe they have some issue, medical issue. Maybe they have a need. Be prepared to protect yourself in as many ways as you can. And the best ways to protect yourself starts with drafting an appropriate agreement that everybody's clear on what the terms are, having the appropriate consequences inside that agreement and that's clear, having the appropriate insurance, and then having the right entity type as another backstop. Each of those layers protects you from losing the stuff that you're working really freaking hard to do. Because I know how hard you work. We have a lot of medical practitioner clients. That's one of our specialties. You guys work way too hard to have some goofy little agreement screw it all up for you. So hey, doc, let's protect that stuff. Thanks.